TJ Holmes acknowledges that during his darkest days, Amy Robach literally helped save my life. In the most recent Amy and TJ podcast episode, Holmes discussed how Robach was essential in assisting him in overcoming his mental health issues. September 2023 saw TJ Holmes join GMA3, which was a reason to celebrate. But one of the lowest points of his life cast a shadow over the professional milestone. In the latest episode of their podcast Amy and TJ, recorded live in New York City on June 10, the 46-year-old former GMA3 host talked about her struggles with alcohol, depression, and suicide thoughts during that trying period. His mental state was really poor at one point. Holmes claimed that he spent the night dozing off on a seat in the street. "I had no idea how unfortunate I was," he remarked. "Because I didn't want to go home, I would wander the streets and go back and forth in the middle of the night. I have literally passed out on a bench on 14th Street in Manhattan, which is just west of Union Square." You had never seen a destitute man dressed so well as I did. Robach, who saw him the way nobody else was, introduced him to running, which helped him overcome his despair. He claims, "She wouldn't let me slide on anything. I genuinely believe she helped save my life." As for Robach, 51, she expressed humility over her part in Holmes' darkest days. "You prevented your own death." "You did, and we hit it off like the best of friends," she told Holmes. "Although we were close friends, it was incredible to see you grow into the greatest version of yourself after we began co-anchoring that show. I was aware of your heart, your brilliant mind, and the fact that you were having difficulties. You just need a friend sometimes. Sometimes all you need is one person to have faith in you." On GMA3, the two worked long hours. They arrived at the office at 5 a.m. and remained side by side until 11 p.m. After leaving the studio, we would go for a training run down the West Side Highway and afterwards, Holmes recalled, have a beer. This was taking place on a daily basis. Thus, my close friend became into my closest friend, who eventually became everything. In November 2022, the relationship between Robach and Holmes was finally made public. The gossip period stated that Robach divorced Andrew Shue in March, while Holmes and his former partner Marilee Fiebig settled their divorce a few weeks later. The couple established their podcast, Amy and TJ, a few days after making their red carpet debut as a couple at iHeartRadio's Jingle Ball in December 2023. Since then, the podcast has served as a forum for them to talk about their love, even interviewing guests like Gavin Rossdale, Rachel Platten, Cheryl Burke, Larsa Pippen, and Lisa Nemi Swayze in an effort to work out their communication kinks. The couple appears to have a closer bond now than before. In an April episode of Amy and TJ, the two talked casually about engagement rings, and while they discussed marriage, they both admitted they haven't decided whether a wedding is in their future. Robach had stated on an episode of the show that she wanted to elope to Fiji for her third wedding. Robach and Holmes are positive that their love was worth the risk in spite of the setbacks and errors they have experienced. At the June 10 event, Holmes stated, "When that rare thing happens maybe it's love, but when it's right there in front of you, life is too short, you have to go for it. We can be grateful for the journey that's brought us here in front of you."